Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This mall needs no introduction. Welcome to Marley Station Mall in Glen Burnie, Maryland. This is the iconic 1980s neon Taubman that's basically been untouched and sits as a time capsule to a bygone era. But unfortunately, there isn't much left inside. So join me for a walk through one of my all-time favorite malls I've ever visited, Marley Station Mall, and let's see what it holds in store for us during my visit in May 2024. Now I know Marley Station has been talked about time and time again. How else do you think I knew about this mall in the first place? Nevertheless, this is my take on Marley Station. I am going to go over the general history of this mall, however, I don't want to make it too long, as I have a lot of opinions I want to share about this place. With that being said, let's get into the history. Marley Station would begin development in the early to mid-1980s. With several malls within the Baltimore region, Marley Station was originally proposed to be a luxury mall for Anne Arundel County. Taubman Centers would be the ones behind the project, and would choose to build the mall right off of State Route 2, also known as Governor Ritchie Highway, right near State Route 100 in Glen Burnie, Maryland, a town which already had two malls present at the time, the Arundel Mall and the Glen Burnie Mall. And Taubman would plan the development a mile away from the Arundel Mall. Despite some major hurdles in the beginning, construction would begin on the 1 million square foot Marley Station Mall in 1985. However, in the middle of construction, Taubman questioned if such a massive luxury mall was a good idea for the area, as it was being built in a blue-collar neighborhood, where people shopped more at budget brands. However, Taubman decided to go on with the project anyways. Marley Station Mall would officially open its doors for the first time on February 24th, 1987. It would originally feature Macy's and Hecht's as its original anchors, along with a cinema operated by United Artists known as The Movies at Marley Station, along with Taubman's iconic architecture design, which would include several geometric shapes and angles, along with the iconic conversation pits, several skylights, and Marley Station's specialty, a whole lot of neon. The opening of Marley Station Mall would be a bit rocky, as the mall would only open with roughly 80% occupancy, and a lot of these luxury brands would not last very long. Although this was disappointing to Taubman, a lot of these vacancies would get filled in with more traditional mall tenants of the time, such as Rave, Suncoast, and KB Toys, just to name a few. And Marley Station would become more of a normal shopping mall for the area, and this would give Marley Station a chance for future success in the area. As the success would slowly continue, Taubman would plan 2 major expansions for Marley Station. Both of these would come in the form of additional anchors. JCPenney would open its Marley Station location in 1994, and Sears would join Marley Station Mall in 1996. This would result in Marley Station seeing great success, whilst killing off the Arundel Mall, which currently operates today as a strip plaza. However, this success would only last through the late 90s, as going into the new millennium, brand new competition would face Marley Station, as in November 2000, Arundel Mills would open just 10 minutes away from Marley Station. This massive new Mills property would be much better located and would pretty much steal all of the business from Marley Station. As performance began to dip, Taubman would sell Marley Station in 2004 to the Mills Corporation, the same company that owned Arundel Mills. As a result, the Mills Corporation wouldn't do much with Marley Station, as they wanted to focus on their Arundel Mills property. In 2006, Hecht's would be acquired by Macy's as a result of the May and Federated Department Store's buyout. As a result of this, Macy's did not want to operate a dual anchor setup at Marley Station. However, instead of operating in their existing space, they chose to relocate operations into the old Hecht's building, and Macy's would sell their old space to Boscov's, who would open their Marley Station location in 2006. Also around this time, the Mills Corporation would go under investigation due to their financial issues, and as a result, all of the Mills properties would be acquired by Simon Property Group, including Marley Station. Simon would not do much with Marley Station either, as they wanted to keep the Arundel Mills property as the destination mall for the area. However, things would really begin to go downhill in 2008, as the recession would take a massive toll on Marley Station. Boscov's would end up closing their Marley Station location along with several others due to their bankruptcy in 2008, which would result in a major anchor vacancy. This would result in a massive vacancy rot beginning to form throughout the mall, and Simon really wouldn't do anything to address these vacancies. However, AINet would purchase the old Boscov space in 2012 to operate it as a data center. By this point, Marley Station Mall was really struggling, and as a result, Simon would default on their loan and would foreclose on the property in 2013. The Woodmont Company would end up being appointed as the new management for Marley Station at the time, and they would actually bring occupancy within the mall back up a bit, with small businesses beginning to open throughout the mall. And Marley Station's official ownership would then be passed on to TKL East through the foreclosure proceedings. In June 2013, AINet wanted to expand operations into the mall itself. However, Woodmont would reject this request, and this would result in their eventual closure. TKL East would then sell Marley Station Mall to L&R Properties in 2014. That same year in February, Regal Cinemas, who acquired the United Artists chain, would close the Marley Station Cinema. However, the theater would reopen in the summer of 2014 as Horizon Cinemas, which would feature all new 3D projectors along with roomier seating and other upgraded amenities. By this point, the mall itself would keep bouncing back and forth between occupancy, but it would still remain somewhere between 50 and 75%. In October 2016, L&R Properties would sell Marley Station Mall to GL Harris, and around this time, the rumored occupancy of the mall would be right around 95%, which is pretty good, but I don't know how accurate it actually was. But things would only continue to go down from this point on. Throughout the rest of the late 2010s, Marley Station Mall would continue to struggle as more tenants would continue to leave. The COVID lockdown in 2020 would not help anything either, and would pretty much be the final nail in the coffin to guarantee that Marley Station would not have a chance to come back. As on November 6, 2020, Sears would announce their plans to close their Marley Station store, and the store would officially close for the last time in January 2021 as one of the last Sears stores in the Baltimore region. This would leave just Macy's and JCPenney as the mall's only anchors, and it would only get worse when in October 2021, GL Harris would foreclose on Marley Station Mall, and it would then be purchased by Namdar Realty Group, who owns Marley Station Mall as of the making of this video. Since then, occupancy has dropped even further, and the mall is now deader than it's ever been before. When recording this footage, I'd say the mall was sitting at roughly between 25 and 30% occupancy, but I'm sure more has left since the taping of this footage in May 2024. It unfortunately seems like Marley Station Mall will not be around for much longer, but only time will tell what the future holds for this property.
Where do I even start? Marley Station has been a mall that I have been dying to see ever since I became interested in dead malls and malls in general. Marley Station really stood out to me as a classic Taubman Mall full of glowing, colorful neons in pink, blue, and white. This mall was an absolute time capsule of the 80s, and I have never been so blown away by the architecture and vibe of a mall before. It's crazy to see a place that still looks like this. I'm really glad we were able to visit the mall at night before the day we were filming it on our Baltimore trip. The neon looked even more impressive at night. This mall is definitely not doing great, so I really hope it doesn't close anytime soon, as it is one of the last of its kind.
Oh god, where do I even begin? Ever since I first found out about Marley Station, I immediately had this mall on my bucket list. This mall is just such an icon, and was the entire reason I planned this trip to Maryland. This mall is more like a dream than it is a real place. I don't know if that really makes any sense, but that's just how it feels. This mall is just everything that made malls in the past so incredible. The neon, along with the Taubman architecture, made this mall easily in my top 3 favorite malls I've ever visited. It's just Taubman's best creation they ever made. This mall blew me away from the first second I stepped foot inside. We stopped here the night before filming as well, just to observe the sights and sounds in the evening whilst we weren't filming, as we showed up about 10 minutes before the mall closed. We were planning to film the mall the next day when we had much more time to do it, and when that next day showed up, we spent probably about a solid hour and a half here. This place was just absolutely incredible. I could have spent even more time here if it wasn't for the fact that we had more places to visit, along with a whole drive home to Cleveland that same day. But oh my god, Marley Station was everything it lived up to be. This is one of those malls where the video just doesn't do it justice. You have to visit this mall in person to really understand the true beauty of Marley Station. However, one thing that was really disappointing was that I actually wasn't expecting Marley Station to be doing this bad. The fact that Marley Station is now in this sad of shape is really disappointing to see. It's inevitable that this mall will not be around for much longer, so if you want to see Marley Station in person, I would do it now while you still can. However, I know not everything lasts forever, and even though I do hope I can visit this mall one more time, I'm just grateful I got to see this mall when I did in May 2024. Marley Station will forever be one of my favorite malls I've ever visited. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for watching my video tour of the Marley Station Mall in Glen Burnie, Maryland. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like as it greatly helps support the channel. And whilst you're at it, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more videos like this to be released to more viewers like you. I have a lot more malls coming to the channel very soon with a lot more stuff you're not going to want to miss. So be sure to subscribe for more malls to come your way. I also have an Instagram linked in the description with sneak peeks of future videos coming to the channel. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, stay awesome, and have a blessed day. I will see you all in my next video.